And the Masters of the Universe.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 9th official He-Man on the Masters of the Universe YouTube episode commentary. My name is James Etok, and today I present to you an episode commentary on one of the most memorable and best remembered episodes of the series, the Season 1 classic, The Dragon Invasion. This is one episode that focuses specifically on action and adventure rather than character development, but we don't fault it for a second because the action is non-stop from the moment the episode begins. A little bit of backstory about this episode. It was loosely based on the Filmation script premise Dragon Seeds. Not the most interesting title in the world, I'll give you that. In that script, Beastman commands a deadly dragon to lay eggs across Eternia. Lay those eggs, dragon! Something like that. In this, the final version of that script premise, Skeletor and Beastman steal the eggs of the mother dragon. So it's, I think that works out a lot better. An example of how long a script would go through development, this script was first approved on December the 10th, 1982, but the final script, with revisions, was not approved until July the 11th, 1983. That's 7 months of development. Just think of all those other scripts going through development at the same time. Must have been rather exciting and incredibly busy. Actually, the Dragon Invasion was released on VHS mere days after the series premiered in America. However, it was released with a mistake that was corrected when the episode aired. I'll talk about that when we get to it. Although never named during this episode, according to the script, this location we see before us is known as Dragon Mount. I own the original line art to one of the opening panning shots, and amazingly you can see that the location is made up of the decomposed bodies of dead dragons. Pretty grim, but it looks fantastic. The line art is so striking that I'm even contemplating making a video on it at some point. Do you want to see a video on Dragon Mount? Not particularly exciting, I know it sounds, but when I isolate this one background, you'll be like, Madre Dios. Don Manuel was the storyboard artist behind this episode, and if you've watched a few videos on this channel, you know how wonderfully detailed his storyboards were, and that I'm a huge fan of his work on both He-Man and She-Ra. His storyboards on this are just like stunning.
I command you! She's protecting her eggs, Skeletor.
Beastman having trouble with the dragons. One of the few times in the series that his ability to control animals fails him, but it also suggests that this mother dragon is like badass. This mother dragon ain't taking no commands from the orange and red one. That's Beastman, by the way. That's how Skeletor takes care of business. Oh, and Beastman, like, you know, what makes you think you can always order me around? My Havoc staff. With its shiny head. Beastman does a runner. Interesting vehicle here. It looks quite generic, you know. Nothing spectacular. Had this been a later episode, I've no doubt that the Basher would have been used. Although, it's not to say the Basher doesn't look generic either. And we're at the Royal Palace. Actually, I've only just realised this episode takes place completely at night, in the space of one night. There are no daytime scenes. It's odd that I've only just clocked that, as I've always thought Reign of the Monster was the most notable night episode. And yet here I am watching one of the most memorable episodes of the series, and I've only just... oh, dear me. Anyway, much like the episode itself being memorable, here we have one of the most famous Orko tricks, in which he creates a bunch of Orko clones that turn against him. Never trust an Orko. We could name the Orkos, you know, Gorpo, that could be a predictable one, you know. Porco, and Dorko. How about that? That'd be my guess anyway. It'd be really cool if they were all multicoloured as well, like different versions of Orko. Because if you've ever read the comics or other canons outside of the cartoon, Orko's colour scheme varies quite a bit. The animation here of Orko and the other Orkos is fantastic. I like all fronting with one another. You want a piece of me? You want a piece of this? Prince Adam's giant mouth in this shot with his, too big. Look at his mouth there. Way too big. In the close-up, perfect size mouth. Prince Adam had a crazy big mouth there. And now we get the moral of the episode, as it were, in which Adam teaches Orko that teamwork is the answer, or at least a good thing. And that comes back to us later in the script.
Oh, well, it was fun while it lasted.
I wonder what Teela's eating there. It looks quite appetising in a way. And now we have the arrival of the dragon egg, much in keeping with how the original premise, Dragon Seeds, saw this episode.
A baby dragon! Isn't it cute?
I like Aldo's immediate reaction because, well, it is a cute baby dragon to be fair, but then the power of Xerox enlarging, i.e. enlarging the artwork to create the illusion of growth, creates a giant dragon. And that dragon is no longer cute, that dragon is breathing fire. I love the roaring as well, it's so loud and vicious. It really sets up the drama and the pacing of this following scene. Now here we have one of my favourite transformation sequences. Firstly, we have this awesome shadow on the wall with the power of Grayskull bursting forth from the sword. But it's what follows that is really rather interesting. Yes, Prince Adam is apparently crushed to death by a falling ceiling, only for the power of Grayskull to immediately free him as the transformation continues. While it makes for an incredibly entertaining and powerful scene, it almost happens far too quickly. It's over before we truly realise what's going on. I think it would have been nice had He-Man turned to Battle Cat and Orko post-transformation and said some sort of quip or pun like, "That was close," or "I escaped that pressing engagement." Admittedly, I just stole that from the Orko's favourite uncle script. Or something like that. It's just like in the episode, "By the power of Grayskull, I've been crushed. I have the power and I'm free." And then nothing. I just think addressing it at some point would have been interesting, though I can appreciate that Michael Reeves just wants to get He-Man out into the Eternian courtyard so he can kick some dragon ass. Also, sorry to harp on about this, but that is why the shadow is used. I don't think Filmation wanted to show Prince Adam being crushed to death, to be honest. The shadow transformation sequence would be used again in the Greatest Show on Eternia, the infamous episode, and no one in sight would be crushed by any falling debris, although there would be a 3-trunked elephant. And now the Warriors come out to play.
Here I come, ready or not. That's the hardest dragon I ever rammed.
Oh yeah, a few scenes from this episode were used in 2 He-Man promotional TV spots. However, the animation, at least the backgrounds, differed in places due to it being very early in development. Actually, if you want me to feature the TV spots, let me know in the comments section below. Man-at-Arms uses his latest device, the Stasis Ray, to turn that dragon into stone. Or just freeze it. Man-at-Arms hands by his side. Man-at-Arms holding a Stasis Ray. Continuity Filmation, continuity.
Well, Beastman has the power to control animals, and Skeletor controls Beastman.
It always seems a bit of a stretch to me that He-Man immediately assumes that Beastman controlled the dragon to attack the royal palace. Not sure how He-Man's findings would work in a court of law. Then again, an Eternian court of law, much like their justice system, seems incredibly flawed. Just look at all the villains that are sent to jail in one episode only to appear free in the following episode. Eternian law, it sucks.
Did you say something?
No, nothing, Skeletor.
Oh, of course, at Snake Mountain here we get one of the old early conniving, cunning Beastman moments. He's plotting against his master. He cannot wait for his downfall. Whatever happened to that Beastman? There's a video for this channel. Whatever happened to that Beastman?
The Dragon Pearl!
Now, some of you may have seen a piece of development art that I've shown from time to time on my Facebook page, and I think it even appears on my blog, of a female character called Seria. C-E-R-I-A. Seria? Seria? Syria? She was going to be a member of Stratos' race of bird people, or Avionians. She was developed alongside many guest characters that appeared in the episode The Curse of the Spellstone, episode number 7. And while she was touted to appear in that episode, she was also to make a brief appearance in this episode too. For some reason or another, she was removed from the script at the very last minute. Have no fear though, I'll show her designs off at some point. If you really want to see them, comment below, tell me you want to see Syria, whatever her name is. Just remember, C-E-R-I-A, Seria. And this action scene always seemed a little odd to me. It feels incredibly forced in, like filler material. It's just so unnecessary. He-Man and Man-at-Arms just chilling. Then a dragon attacks and they trap it. Just bizarre. Also, why is it that the rock slowly moves down? I get the feeling that wasn't intentional and that it's a mistake on the part of the camera operator. It just seems weird. If you're going to move a boulder or whatever. And now we have an interesting moment at Snake Mountain. Yes, we have the first appearance, on the left there, of Jitsu. Although if you've watched the trivia video on this channel, you'll know that it's not actually Jitsu, it's Chopper, as Jitsu had yet to be named by Mattel. And, as I also mentioned in that trivia video, Strongarm was also named Chopper for a while. And so Strongarm appears in place of Jitsu in the storyboards for this episode. If that's all too confusing, just watch the trivia video on this channel. It's very easy to understand once you've watched that, kind of.
Our new home, Castle Grayskull.
Now, remember I mentioned earlier in the commentary when this episode came out on video that it was slightly different? Here's where the difference occurred. In the original version of the episode, the sorceress appears at the window in the form of Zor and transforms into her human form, thereby breaking continuity by revealing her falcon form to Skeletor. Because, if you recall, only a few of the heroes are supposed to know that Zor and the sorceress are one and the same. The corrected version, as you can see here, has the sorceress simply appear at the window already in her human form. It's still amazing to me that Filmation went back and corrected that even after the episode had been completed. This is a great little confrontation between Skeletor and the sorceress. I mean, every confrontation they have usually is great. Trouble! And he does his laugh. Check that out. That's a maniacal Skeletor if ever I've seen one. He's smiling in that scene. I'm not talking a Christmas special smiling. I mean, that's just a smile. That's an evil smile. The concern etched on the face of the sorceress in this scene really does tell us that, this Dragon Pearl that Skeletor is using is pretty powerful. So yeah, Jitsu, Evelyn, Trapjaw. Actually, Trapjaw has a completely silent... He doesn't even talk in this episode. I should be offended given how much of a fan of Trapjaw I am.
He-Man, come to Grayskull.
Come on! The sorceress is calling.
So yeah, the sorceress sends out a distress call to He-Man. If you look at that lineup there, He-Man, Battlecat, Stratos, Teela, Ram Man and Man-at-Arms with the Battle Ram. It looks very much like the early, mini comics kind of thing. The Savage Barbarian and his heroes.
You are trapped the sorceress in the Dragon Pearl.
And there's Chopper's only piece of dialogue in the entire series. Take a bow, sir, take a bow. And the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor goes to Plundor. No, I'm kidding, it's Chopper. Or Jitsu. Or whatever his name is. According to Larry DiTilio, Jitsu was never used again due to his character being a stereotype of Asians, and Filmation pulled the character as not to offend, because his design is very, as you can see, unique, and by unique I think you know what I mean. This is one of the all-time great panning shots of the interior of Castle Grayskull. Actually, in production order of the series, I think this is the first time we see this particular background. And now, coming up is one of the most iconic images in the series. What in Eternia is going on? Skeletor's face over Castle Grayskull. Check it out, just very cool. Oh, and in that TV spot I mentioned, we see the very same scene. However, the jawbridge is actually raised in that version, which meant they animated this sequence twice. And trust me, this is not a simple sequence to animate, given the 3 or so layers and the... Oh, we'll fade into black, I better shut up. As I was saying, it wasn't a simple sequence to animate given the 3 or so layers and the differing exposures in order to create the see-through visage of Skeletor, so yeah. Can't get into Castle Grayskull. Things look bad for the heroes.
There's no science or sorcery that's hot enough to burn through that force field. It looks bad.
It's a strange piece of dialogue from Man-at-Arms. Hot enough? Powerful enough? So yeah, going back to earlier in the episode, Orko remembers what Prince Adam said, and He-Man does a little look. I am Prince Adam. I did say that. Oh, Ram Man's face there, if you look, slightly wrong. The positioning, his eyes are way too high. Ram Man, get your head right inside your hat.
Are you...
Oh, Trapjaw's arm on the wrong side in that previous shot. Not good. Not good. Oh, this episode is slowly losing points. Trapjaw doesn't talk. Trapjaw's arm is on the wrong side. Grrr. This is a very, very cool shot of the sorceress. Look at that, just slowly wilting under the power that Skeletor is absorbing from her. Again, Skeletor's face. I've taken that power. Oh, we're in the Wind Raider again. This time it's He-Man and Teela. Just having a casual flight to Snake Mountain.
Snake Mountain. We may be playing right into Skeletor's hands.
Well, we'll have to chance it. This is our only hope to save Grayskull.
I always think this is a bit of an odd little scene. He-Man and Teela just enter Snake Mountain as if it's their local tourist information centre or something. Just in the throne room, no alarms, no other villains to oppose them. I understand that they have a certain cast number, but still. And Beastman, I completely forgot about that dude. He's still at Snake Mountain, guarding the Dragon Pearl. Although, would you really trust Beastman to guard the Dragon Pearl? I do like this sequence where it's like, fire, deflect fire, fire, burns away structure, structure falls, He-Man catches, saves Dragon. Haha! Dragon's like, what the hell's going on in my bag? Just thinking about it, Beastman got left behind and Chopper didn't. Oh, Beastman, you have fallen from grace, my friend.
I'll destroy you, He-Man.
I always love this part of the scene in which He-Man kind of picks up that structure next to him and rams its own structure, trapping Beastman. The animation is so smooth and dramatic at the same time. Teela fires the stasis ray and Beastman turns. I'm starting to think actually this isn't a stasis ray at all, but rather a device that paints people blue. Beastman, Blue Beastman we're going to call him from now on, actually looks like another variant of his action figure. You just imagine the Mattel advert. You've seen the orange Beastman, the green Beastman that is Muskman, and now comes the blue Beastman that is Snowman. Ah, friendly dragon. Then it just eats Teela in the next scene. I always think of the Panini sticker ad when I see this image. I remember it was an image you would assemble from 4 individual stickers, which meant that as a kid you always had to track down a missing piece. Actually, in the script, that previous scene there, the scene is somewhat different. Upon the dragons becoming friendly, we see Man-at-Arms on his android horse herding a docile dragon as Stratos appears by his side. So now, teamwork, as Orko reminds us, we're going to get in. Oh, if you look at this sequence as well a few times, Man-at-Arms is given brown eyebrows, or eyebrows that match the colour of his moustache. It's reddish brown. And Man-at-Arms with brown eyebrows looks a bit wrong. So yeah, flames, hot, break through the shield. Skeletor, what is going on? Teela and the Warriors, let's get inside Castle Grayskull.
There is a team not even Skeletor's force field could resist.
This fight scene was originally a lot longer. It opened up initially with Evil Lyn about to cast a spell, with Man-at-Arms using a bolo to tie her hands together, with him quipping, "That should take the wind out of your spells, witch." Trapjaw and Stratos' fight lasts longer, with Trapjaw biting a chain suspended in a chandelier. However, Stratos catches the broken chain and drops the chandelier on Trapjaw, which traps him, trapping Trapjaw. Anyway, the final part of this original battle had Battlecat take on Panther, Battlecat using his tail to activate a panel on the wall which causes force field bars to appear around Panther. Very cool. So yeah, Skeletor has escaped to Snake Mountain to live another day. But there's He-Man with his weirdly drawn Sword of Power, or at least the hilt was weirdly drawn. So Skeletor grabs the Dragon Pearl and runs. And if you go back to the Time Corridor, there's the title card from the Time Corridor episode, the one time it appears.
I win, He-Man!
Such a cool confrontation. Look at this. He-Man and Skeletor in front of Snake Mountain's Blood Falls. Ah, it's just amazing. And what does Skeletor do? Uses the Dragon Pearl to grow in size. Uh-oh, this doesn't bode well for He-Man. Actually, this fight scene between giant-sized Skeletor and He-Man was shot for shot reanimated for a fight between an Ice Hacker and He-Man in The Dragon's Gift, episode 34. Also, if you see that extreme downshot there of Snake Mountain's Blood Falls, go back to the Shaping Staff episode and you'll see that this same background misused as the Abyss, as they were trying to figure out what the Abyss looked like.
You know I wouldn't have saved you.
I guess I value life more than you do, Skeletor, even yours.
Well, I value this. Take your last look. You won't see it again. Oh, no! No!
Skeletor, shocked by a dragon, or scared by a dragon, what? Drops the Dragon Pearl. Oh no. Skeletor activates, I like this little thing, I would like to have seen this more. I'm going to get on my war sled, or Doom Buggy as it was called in the scripts, and get the hell out of here. Whee! Actually, I think that shot of Skeletor as he disappears over Snake Mountain, like that, the kind of landscape, that is actually the other title card that we see at the beginning of this episode. The dragon uses its flame to destroy the Dragon Pearl, freeing the sorceress. I like the fact that when the sorceress reappears, due to her being outside Castle Grayskull, she immediately transforms into Zor. Very, very cool animation too.
Thank you. Well, let's go home, Zor.
I still love that piece of dialogue. Let's go home, Zor. So the Dragon Invasion, yeah, one of the most memorable episodes of the series, one of the most action-packed. There are really no bad moments. If you want a really good He-Man action-adventure episode, this is it. It's got everything. It's got a wide cut. Actually, if you want to criticise He-Man for being a toy advert, this would be a great episode to start with. I mean, you've got a plethora of characters in this script. We have the heroes and the villains, and they all get a decent amount of screen time, although Trapdoor doesn't talk, so I'm kind of annoyed about that. Just an incredible couple of scenes. Skeletor takes over Castle Grayskull. It doesn't happen as often as you'd think. And likewise with He-Man fighting Skeletor one-on-one, again, very rarely in the series it would happen. Also, to kind of get on my animation direction soapbox, the pacing throughout this episode is just near perfect, except for that one filler scene with He-Man and Man-at-Arms, you know, trapping a dragon in a cave. But we'll excuse that, that's fine. It's still exciting, and we get a really cool shot of the Royal Palace in that sequence as well. This episode almost feels like a transitional episode. It's very much in keeping with the original, earliest concepts of the series. You know, dragons and sword and sorcery and magic and a bit of science thrown in for good measure. But it's also like it feels like it's transitioning into what the series becomes. The dialogue is still kind of very early. You know, Skeletor, no, not funny. Beastman, very cunning. He-Man, pure hero. It's everything good about the series in one episode. And so that's it for this commentary. I really hope you enjoyed The Dragon Invasion, because I did, because it's a fun episode. As always, leave comments below, like and share this video, and if you have yet to do so, subscribe to the most powerful channel in the universe. Cue me punching the screen. Boom!